is like, you have to know how to split apart this inequality with the absolute value. Is there any questions of that or anything you're not sure about?
No, I'm good.
Okay. All right, so here we go. Let's say it's the absolute value 2x minus 1, absolute value less than 7. I'd like you to try that for me, please.
Four is less than x less than 4.
Like this?
Yeah.
Okay, so one problem I know for sure is it's almost never the case that it's the same number on the left and the right. Okay, so do you want to make any changes to this here?
Oh wait, that number is 3 less than x less than 4.
Okay. All right, so there, I know there's at least a sign error here. Tell me, what did you write in your next line? So I can see where you went wrong, where there's a problem.
Oh, I see it. Well, okay, so -7. I just didn't carry down the negative sign.
All right, so try solving it from here. It does produce something similar, but there's a small modification to what you have here.
-3 is less than x less than 4.
Good, very good. Okay. All right, so have you try another one here. Let's say it's absolute value, I don't know, x plus 2 over 3 less than +1.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead and give this one a try, please.
-5 is less than x minus -1.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look here. Did you write x plus 2 over 3 in the middle, less than 1, and then on the left put a -1, like that, something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, did you multiply everything by 3?
Yes.
Okay, so let's take a look at that. That becomes -3 less than x plus 2 less than 3. Is that what you have written?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me what you do from here. What do you do to undo this addition by 2?
-2.
Subtract 2, subtract 2. Like, why is Matthew asking me this? On the left, it's definitely -5. On the right, small little thing here.
Oh, 1.
Yeah, and you said -1.
Got it.
And maybe if I saw your work, I mean, it wouldn't be a big deal. I'm just asking for the final answer though, so go with that. Okay, so notice our goal on all these problems is get it into absolute value of something less than a number Okay, like we have to get it into this form. So what I can do though is I can make it so that it's not quite in this form. Like I can say 5 plus 3 absolute value x minus 1 less than 14. You know, maybe it kind of looks like it's in the form that we've been doing, but it's not just an absolute value. So before you can do this split apart like we've been doing in all the problems, it has to be in this form where it's just an absolute value, no numbers, just an absolute value.
Nothing outside it, right? Okay.
Nothing outside it, nothing below it, you know, left or right of it. So here, you know, this is where it goes back to your earlier skills. Like, do you know how to, which to undo first? Do you undo this 5 or this 3 first? Yes, the order matters. Do you think you know what
The 3.
so this 5 is actually being added, even though it's not shown that way. It's just sort of out there. So you undo the 5 first.
So minus 5.
Yes, subtracting 5. So now it's 3 times, and that's kind of an indicator. Sometimes if you say it out loud, 3 times x minus 1 less than 9. 3 times, I know to undo the 3 first, the multiplication by 3.
So divide by 3.
Divide by 3. Yeah. Now I'm trying real hard to give you numbers that are nice, you know, no fractions, but I can't guarantee that for the future. Like we're gonna have to eventually move in the fraction world, but for now we'll just go with it. Go ahead and split this apart from here and let me know what you come up with.
-2 less than x less than 4.
All right, I think we finally got one completely perfect there.
Sweet.
So again, like the challenge here is like getting it so that it's in this form where you can split it apart. Like you have to get it into this form to split it apart. So all I'm doing is adding like another layer to what we've been doing over and over again here. Okay, so here is here's another one we'll work out together. Absolute value 3x minus 1 minus 2, and I'll put a 1/3 here, less than or equal to 1. No, I don't want, let's do 4. Do 4 there. Okay. All right. This 1/3 is multiplying it, the absolute value. The -2, obviously it's you're subtracting 2. Which do you undo first? This 1/3 or this -2?
-2 first.
Okay, so you're gonna add 2 to both sides. Okay, so we got 1/3, absolute value 3x minus 1 less than or equal to 6. Okay, and then how do you undo this 1/3? Multiplication by 1/3.
You multiply by 3 over 1.
Yes, yes. It would have been okay to say divide by 1/3, but then I would have asked you, well, what do you even mean by that? I like the way you said that there. Multiply by the reciprocal. So you've got absolute value 3x minus 1 less than or equal to 18. So now we're going to split it apart. 3x minus 1 less than or equal to 18 less than or equal to -18. What do we do first to undo inside here in the middle?
Add 1.
Add 1. So this is where you know these problems turn unfriendly. -17 less than or equal to 3x less than or equal to 19. To solve for x, you're going to divide by 3, and this is now where this just doesn't work out. I mean, there is not a number that this works with.
So you can just leave it as a fraction.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Okay. And I don't know how much you're seeing that in class. I don't know. I mean, it shouldn't be a big deal, but I get it. Like it's like fractions. You're not used to seeing them, but we've got to move into that sort of realm here. Okay. But again, our goal was to get it down to this. So you have to know the order to undo stuff in.
So we still brought it down.
When you say brought it down, just tell me, what do you mean by
Like
that?
we still fully solved it doing it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes. Yes. The point is we start out the lesson today. Like I would just give you a problem like this to start out the lesson. And now we're giving you like a little bit more to do each
Yes,
time.
I got
Okay. And this will build you up to where you're like, okay, I can do any of these problems. Let's give you one here. Do 2 absolute value 5x plus 1 minus 8 less than or equal to 20.
Okay.
Go ahead and solve this start to finish for me. Please ask me questions if you have them.
Okay. -3 is less than or equal to x less than or equal to -13/5.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay, it looks pretty good. So did you get it down to absolute value 5x plus 1 less than or equal to 14?
Yeah.
Okay, so 14 less than or equal to 5x plus 1, and then negative 14 on the left here. Subtract 1 from both sides. And what you notice here when you divide now is that one of them works out and one of them doesn't, meaning like it divides nicely. Now, could it be that they both work out? It's very rare. It's actually more normal to have one kind of be nice, one a fraction or both fractions than the other. It's
Okay.
really good, really good on that. Okay, so one other problem to do for us to do together before we move on to the other case is, let's say I did something like 2x minus 4. That wouldn't be, they wouldn't get that. Let's do a 3 over 5 plus 1 less than or equal to let's go just 2 here. Okay. So do you clearly see that the fraction bar is outside of the absolute value here on the left?
Yeah.
Whereas like in an earlier problem, try to find it here, the fraction bar was actually inside the absolute value.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to visually distinguish between those two. Okay,
So what's the difference when one's inside and outside?
so this problem is more like this: 1/5 absolute value 2x minus 3 plus 1, meaning you have to undo the 1 and the 1/5 before you break apart the absolute value.
Right. Yeah.
So if it's inside, you can't do anything about it until you break apart the absolute value. But from here, you have to realize, okay, subtract 1 from both sides. So I got 1/5 absolute value 2x minus 3 less than or equal to 1, and then multiply by 5 over 1 on both sides, or 5. So you end up getting 2x minus 3 less than or equal to 5. And then you split it apart here: 2x minus 3 less than or equal to 5 less than or equal to -5. add 3 to both sides. -2 less than or equal to 2x less than or equal to 8. Divide by 2 everywhere. And -1 less than or equal to x less than or equal to 4.
Got it.
Okay. So this one actually worked out nicely. I mean, I'm making up numbers, but some of them do work out, some don't. So I feel like we fully covered the between case. Now we're going to move to the outside case. Okay, so let's start with just a very basic problem. Let's say it's the absolute value of 2x greater than 6. Okay, absolute value of 2x greater than 6. So the greater than or the greater than or equal to, these are the outside case. And here's the difference. You split these apart completely. You write exactly what you see without the absolute value, but with the inequality. Okay, just take a moment and confirm that you see that's exactly the same without the vertical bars.
Mhm.
Then this is where it's different. This is the different part. This is where it gets confusing. You flip the inequality. See how it's going the other direction now?
Yeah,
And you negate the number.
it's making it negative.
Yes.
Alright.
So two things. You got to flip that and negate that. And it's only for these. So if we back up here, like you and I spent last lesson and then part of today doing all of those. Now we're branching the other direction. And you have to have separate thinking. You have to say, okay, once on the left, I do this, all the stuff we already did today. Now we're learning the new stuff on the right.
Right.
There's also this word or that goes between them. And I don't know if they emphasize this or not, but I like to write it because it means like one or the other. They don't have to both be true, just one or the other. And if you're not sure what I mean by that, we can talk about that. But in terms of what you do next, you solve both of these inequalities. So you divide by 2, you get x is greater than 3, divide by 2. Notice the steps are the same. X is less than -3. And that's your answer. Either x is greater than 3 or x is less than -3. I think we did a little bit on the number line here. Let's say that's 3 and that's -3. X greater than 3 means it's to the right over here. Less than -3 means to the left over here. And
So
that's
when it's an or, this is when there's two different lines, so like two different shaded.
Yes. There are exceptions that we might see where they're basically like no solution or infinite solutions, but for now, yes, you can say there's two places, two regions.
Right. Cool.
The key thing I want us to work on right now is breaking this apart into the two inequalities, solving them, and then graphing. Okay, so let's do another example here whenever you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right, so let's say it's an absolute value 4x plus 1 greater than 17, like that. So here's what it becomes: 4x plus 1 greater than 17, or this is the harder one, 4x plus 1. So exactly the same on the left, flip the inequality, negate the number.
Got it.
Subtract 1 from both sides, 4x greater than 16. Subtract 1 from both sides, 4x less than -18. Notice the steps are the same. Like you're now going to divide both of them. So you can either choose to do them at the same time, or to work them one and then the other. X greater than 4, x less than -9 over 2. So on a number line again, and it tends to always be this way, where the traditional way of showing this, it's the positive, the one on the left here becomes the number more to the right, open circle, and then -9/2 to the left there, something like that. So there's all this space in between where it's not true, but you typically only care about where it is true.
Got it.
Okay, so let's look at another one here. Actually, I'll have you try this one. absolute value 5x plus 2 greater than or equal to 27. Go ahead and try working that out on your own, please.
All right, do I say out both numbers?
Go ahead and try and read it for me left to right here. So x
Okay, hold
should be
on.
a greater than something, and then x
Yeah.
less than or equal to something.
X is greater than or equal to 5. X then is less than or equal to minus 29 over 5.
Good. Good. Very good. Okay. So what about this is difficult in your opinion right now?
I don't feel like anything's difficult, but maybe like the newest thing to me is putting it on the line, but I feel like I can do that pretty easily.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, I was trying to get you to say that, yeah, there is nothing difficult about this because you've done a lot of the heavy lifting already by working on these types of problems. Let me give you a couple more here to look at. Absolute value x minus 4 over 5 minus 3 greater than or equal to negative 1. Let's try that here. Okay, so this one's got a little bit more to do. Just like we've talked about, you have to isolate the absolute value. Like you can't split this apart until the absolute value is isolated. Okay, so you have to look at this and you have to know whether to undo division by 5 or subtraction by 3. Which do you undo first?
Subtraction by 3.
So you're gonna add 3 to both sides. Okay, so that becomes absolute value x minus 4 over 5 greater than or equal to 2. Now you undo this division by 5 by multiplying by 5 on both sides. So now it's absolute value x minus 4 greater than or equal to 10. Now that the absolute value is now that the absolute value is isolated, like it wasn't isolated, now it is. Now you can break it apart, okay? And it's, it's case 1, case 2. It's like, okay, it's exactly what's written without the absolute value. Then it's the flip of it and the negation of the number. But you got to get it back to this form, just like we're doing in the other case. Like if it were less than or equal to, you still have to break it down into solving for the absolute value. Add 4, add 4, add 4, add 4. X is greater than or equal to 14. X is less than or equal to negative 6, like that. Any questions on that before I have you try one here?
No, I'm good.
All right, let's have you try one here. Negative 3 plus 4 absolute value x minus 1 greater than 5. Let's go ahead and solve this. If you have some questions, please ask.
All right, I have it.
Okay, what's your final answer?
X minus 1 is greater than 2x.
Keep
Minus-
going. Solve it all the way. All the way.
I can say it fully.
Yeah, give me, because your final answer should be x greater than, x less than something.
Oh, wait, I forgot one step.
Okay. Keep
Yeah, I just didn't add that one. X is greater than 3, X is less than 1.
like this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a look. That sounds pretty good. You work it out here. So you're gonna add 3 to both sides, 4 absolute value x minus 1 greater than 8, divide by 4. So absolute x minus 1 is greater than 2. And then it becomes the two cases here. X minus 1 greater than 2, x minus 1 less than -2. Is that what you have written?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you add 1 to both sides, I agree with the 3, but I don't agree with the,
Oh, -1.
yeah, this should be -1. Now, it's not that there's always a positive and a negative. It's not that there's always like symmetry, but this is important. It's really important. What happens if you run, you run all the way down to first base, you don't hit the base?
You're out.
You're
Or
out,
like,
right? Right. You did
yeah.
all that work, and I mean, does that happen in baseball?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, right? Weird stuff happens. Like you're doing it, like to me, it looks like you're doing all the work here, and then you're getting down to the end. It's just a little
Mhm.
thing you got to be really careful of. We see this in the tournament. We see players not finishing the games and not putting in their maximum effort or whatever. We can make analogies to science and technology, but you're really close. And I know there's like a lot to do here. It's like there's a synthesis of many steps, but you can absolutely do this.
Mhm.
Let's get you a couple more here to look at. Let's go 5 plus absolute value 2x divided by 3 greater than let's go 7. Go ahead and give this one a try, please.
I think I'm confused on this one. I'm messing up somewhere, but I'm not sure where.
Okay, did you subtract 5 from both sides to start?
Yeah.
Okay, so it should be absolute value 2x divided by 3 greater than 2.
Mhm.
Next thing is to undo this division by 3.
Right. So 3/1.
That's right, or just times 3. That's fine. So on the left, it becomes absolute value 2x greater than 6. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's where I was going on. I got it from here.
Okay.
X is greater than 3, X is less than -3.
Yes. Okay, so now we're going to move on to some more difficult problems. I'm going to guide you through a few of them before I ask you to do any on your own here. Basically, we're just increasing the difficulty each time we're doing this. Now, so let's go back and let's just take something pretty simple, like -2 absolute value x minus 4 is less than 10. Okay. Do you agree that we should divide both sides by -2?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now what that does is it isolates the absolute value. That's really good. That's what we want. But what it also does is it affects this inequality here. So the decision about how to break apart the inequality or the absolute value with the inequality is based on when you actually solve for the absolute value. Because here, this becomes a greater than -5. It was a less than, now it's a greater than, okay? This is actually a bad example. Let me make that number not there, okay? So what we're going to start seeing here are problems where the inequality will switch, will flip. And you have to be okay with that. All right, so let's look at another example here. Let's say it's 3 minus absolute value 4x plus 1 greater than -17. Okay. What is the first thing to undo on the left side of the equation, the side with the absolute value? What do you see here?
Subtract by 3.
So that would be true if 3 were negative. 3 is actually positive.
Okay, so divide by 3.
Subtract 3.
Subtract.
Yeah, this negative here that is next to the absolute, this goes with the absolute value. Like you almost want to visualize it there. So it's negative absolute value 4x plus 1 greater than -20. Is that okay? Is that clear?
Yeah.
Now, how do you undo this negative? Well, it's really -1, right? It's really a -1 out in front. How do you undo a negative like that?
Multiply by,
Or divide. Yeah, multiply or divide by negative. Very good. What does that do to the inequality?
flips it.
Flips it.
Yeah.
And then we can, from here, you can then break it apart the way we've been doing. Okay, but you have to be comfortable with the fact that you may be asked to flip the inequality. Any questions on that for the
No.
moment? Okay. This one's a bad example though, because it's got no solution. We're going to get to that. There's really a lot of buildup to be able to do like full problems here, but just say that out there. Okay. Let's say it's oh, I don't know. Let's go 5 minus 3 absolute value x plus 1 greater than or equal to -4. Yeah, let's do this. So here's what I want you to try to do, Mateo. Mateo, I want you to get it down to the absolute value of x plus 1, and then I want to know everything that's over here, meaning the inequality and the number.
All right.
So go ahead and work that out. You don't have to solve it beyond that, but
How far am I solving this again?
I'm just looking for what goes to the right of the absolute value, just so I
Alright,
can
I have
check that
that.
you, tell
I
me
have
what goes to the right of it here.
less than or equal to 3.
Yes, very good. Okay. So like let's say this was a 10-point problem from the beginning. I would say you've earned like 4 points out of out of the 10. So there's obviously more to do here. And this is where it gets confusing is like, what do you do with this? And you've done a number of problems like this today, but the challenge is like, well, do I split it apart or is it between? You just sort of hinted at that, like, what do you think it is? What do you do from here? Or if you're not sure, that's so
Wow.
sorry. Well, you have to break it apart. You have to break apart the absolute value.
So can I
So
just do what we've been doing with the inequality or the -3 on the other side?
yeah, but this is the between case. This is the between case, meaning it's going to look something like this, where you bound it
Mhm.
on the left and the right. That's what I'm trying to say. Like it would be a mistake to write x plus 1 greater than or equal to 3 or x plus 1 less than or equal to -3. Like you have to know, you have to recognize because of this symbol right there that it's the between case.
Mhm.
And then you subtract 1 and subtract 1.
Got it.
All right, let's do another one here. 4 minus 4 absolute value x plus 2 greater than -4. So again, I want you to get this down to just absolute value x plus 2, and then tell me what goes to the left or the right, or to the right of this, please.
Less than 2.
Like this.
Mhm.
Very good. Now, could you break this apart and solve it the rest of the way?
Yeah. -4 less than x less than 0.
Very good. Perfect. Okay. All right. So one of the things you did, I think, has been very encouraging is that you've really, your algebra, sort of the mechanics of moving things around has really improved as a result of these absolute value
Yeah.
equations. That, like I mentioned, the really the challenge here is you always get it down to the absolute value of something, and then if it's a less than or equal to, that's the between case. If it's a greater than or equal to, that's the outside case, the or, and being able to split these apart. And so that, like, that's the real challenge here, when doing, these types of problems, is like knowing how to handle this. So let me Let's look at a couple more here. Let's say it's -9, absolute value x plus 8 plus 10 less than -45, like this. Oops, and
There's two absolute values. Okay.
sorry, that's my mistake. So what do you undo first on the left side? The
You
10
gotta,
or the -9?
subtract 9. Or you have to subtract 10.
Yes, subtract 10 from both sides. And I put a bad number here. Let's do, sorry, let's make this 35.
Okay.
-9 absolute value x plus 8 less than -45. Now you divide by -9. So you get absolute value x plus 8 greater than 5. So this is where you have to really be comfortable, because this one's different than the last one. You have to know to break this apart into x plus 8 greater than 5, x plus 8 less than -5. And then solve it from here. So you subtract 8 from both sides, subtract 8 from both sides, x greater than -3, x less than -13.
Gotcha.
So again, the answers could be both negative, both positive, one negative, one positive, fraction, not fraction, right? Like there's no rules. There's no like, oh, this always works. This is always going to be correct here. But you know, you know enough now in principle to be able to do this. So let's have you try one here. -7 absolute value x divided by 3. -9 less than -30. So go ahead and give this one a try. If you got questions, please ask. It is kind of like the last one where you're going to split it apart.
X is greater than -6. X is less than 0.
Okay, let's take a look here. I'm not sure. I'm going to work it out here with you. All right, so now did you divide both sides by -7
Yeah.
to get absolute value x over 3 greater than 3? Do you see
Yeah.
that? So now this is that two cases. You got x over 3 greater than 3, x over 3 less than -3. How do you undo division by 3?
Multiplication.
Multiply by 3. Sometimes it's good to say that out loud. So small mistake here. I mean, if you're getting this far, you're just really close to the end. You just a
Yeah.
bit more practice would help. But that is it.
Got it.
All right, good job. You got your math workout in.